Hey folks, Yasin here, back again with a new video for you today. Today's video is part 2 of my Lucasfilm history lesson video. This specific video that I'm going to be making for you today is specifically about the gaming division of Lucasfilm Games, which was formerly known as LucasArts. Please like this video as well as all my other videos and all my shorts. Please share them, please comment on them. Please subscribe to my channel and please click the bell for new notifications from me. Want to make sure you'll see everything in the background here. Please like my videos. Please like this video as well as all of my other videos and all my shorts. Please share them. Please comment on them. Please subscribe to my channel and please click the bell for new notifications from me. Alright, here goes. Lucasfilm Games, known as LucasArts between 1990 and 2021, is an American video game licensor, former video game developer and publisher, and a subsidiary of Lucasfilm. It was founded in May 1982 by George Lucas as a video game development group alongside his film company. As part of a larger 1990 reorganization of the Lucasfilm divisions. As part of a larger 1990 reorganization of the Lucasfilm divisions, the video game development division was grouped and rebranded as part of LucasArts. LucasArts became known for its line of adventure games based on its SCUM engine, that's SCUMM, in the 90s, including Maniac Mansion, the Monkey Island series, and several Indiana Jones titles. A number of influential game developers were alumni of LucasArts from this period, including Brian Moriarty, Tim Schafer, Ron Gilbert, and Dave Grossman. Later, as Lucasfilm regained control over its licensing over the Star Wars franchise, LucasArts produced numerous action-based Star Wars titles in the late 1990s and early 2000s, while dropping adventure game development due to waning interest in the genre. Lucasfilm was wholly acquired by the Walt Disney Company in December of 2012, and by April 2013, Disney had announced the shuttering of LucasArts in all but name, keeping the division around to handle licensing of Lucasfilm properties to third-party developers, primarily Electronic Arts, EA. I'll talk about EA in a future history lesson video. And having any in-house development transferred to Disney Interactive Studios. Disney has, since 2021, revitalized the Lucasfilm Games brand as the licensor of all Lucasfilm-related properties. In 1979, George Lucas wanted to explore other areas of entertainment and created. In 1979, George Lucas wanted to explore other areas of entertainment and created the Lucasfilm Computer Division in 1979, in that same year, which included a department for computer games, the Games Group, and another for graphics. The graphics department was spun off into its own corporation in 1986, ultimately becoming Pixar. The Lucasfilm Games Group originally cooperated with Atari Inc., which helped fund the video game group's founding, which helped fund their founding. To, to produce video games. Though the group had spun out of Lucasfilm, though the group had spun out of Lucasfilm, the video game development license for Lucasfilm's Star Wars was held by Atari at the time, forcing the group to start with original concepts. Ron Gilbert, one of the group's first employees, believed that the Lucasfilm Games group had the rights for Star Wars from the start. They would have never had, and if the Lucasfilm Ron Gilbert, one of the group's first employees, believed that if the Lucasfilm Games Group had the rights for Star Wars from the start, they would have never brushed into any new intellectual property. The first products for the first products from the Lucas the first products from the games group were Ball Blazer and Rescue on Fractalus, developed in 1984 for the Atari 5200 console and Atari 8-bit computers. Beta versions of both games were leaked to pirate. Beta versions of both games were leaked to pirate bulletin boards exactly 1 week after Atari had received unprotected copies for a marketing review and were in wide circulation over a year before the original release date. Planned to be released in the third quarter of 1984 under the Atari/Lucasfilm label, the games were delayed when Warner Communications sold the assets of the consumer division of Atari Inc. to Jack Tramiel in July of that year, and were ultimately picked up by publisher Epix. EPY, Epix with a YX, and released by May 1985. Lucasfilm's next two games were Coronis Rift and the Eidolon, or Eidolon, Eidolon. I don't know how you pronounce that. The first games were only developed by Lucasfilm and a publisher who would distribute the games. Atari published their games for Atari Systems. Activision and Epix would do their computer publishing. Maniac Mansion was the first game to be published and developed by Lucasfilm Games. The early charter of Lucasfilm Games was to make experimental, innovative, and technology-advanced video games. Habitat, an early online role-playing game and one of the first to support a graphical front end, was one such title. It was only released as a beta test in 1986 by Quantum Link, an online service for the Commodore 64. Quantum Link could not provide the bandwidth at the time to support the game, so the full Habitat was never released outside of the beta test. However, Lucasfilm Games recouped the cost of development by releasing a sized-down version called Club Caribe in 1988. Lucasfilm later licensed the software to Fujitsu, who released it in Japan as Fujitsu Habitat in 1990. Fujitsu later licensed Habitat for worldwide distribution and released an updated version called Worlds Away in 1995. The latest iteration of Habitat is still called Worlds Away, which can be found at Metro Worlds. Initially, the games group worked from Lucas's Skywalker Ranch near Nicasio, California. In 1990, and in a reorganization of the Lucas companies. The games division of Lucasfilm became part of the newly created LucasArts Entertainment Company, which also comprised, rather, I almost said compromised, which also comprised Industrial Light and Magic and Skywalker Sound. Later, ILM and Skywalker Sound were consolidated in Lucas Digital Limited, and LucasArts became the official name of the former games division. During this, the division had moved out of Skywalker Ranch to nearby offices in San Rafael, California. Also in 1990, LucasArts started to publish The Adventurer, their own gaming magazine where one could read about the upcoming games and interviews with the developers. The final issue was published in 1996. In 1996. In the same year, Lucas Learning was created as a subsidiary of LucasArts, providing educational software for classrooms. iMuse. iMuse or interactive music streaming engine is an interactive music system used in a number of LucasArts video games. It synchronizes music with the visual action in the game and transitions from one musical theme to another. iMuse was developed in the early 1990s by composers Michael Land and Peter McConnell, who while working at LucasArts. Blah, blah. The iMuse system is patented by LucasArts and was added. The iMuse system is patented by LucasArts and was added to the SCUM game engine in 1991. The first game to use iMuse was Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, and it has been used in all LucasArts adventure games since. It has also been used for some non-adventure LucasArts titles including Star Wars X-Wing, Star Wars TIE Fighter, and Star Wars Dark Forces. Why are these Star Wars games non-adventure when Star Wars is an adventure franchise? I don't understand that. Wait. Lucasfilm Games also released several side-scrollers during the LucasArts era, focusing primarily on run-and-gun gameplay. A trilogy of games under the name of Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, with each game based on each of the three films from the Star Wars original trilogy: Super Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Super Star Wars: The Return of the Jedi, an Indiana Jones game based on the first three films of the franchise titled Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures, was developed alongside Factor 5, the first of many joint collaborations between the two studios. They also released some games not based on their existing IPs: Zombies Ate My Neighbors and its sequel Ghoul Patrol. Were overhead run and gun side scrollers inspired by classic 1950s horror B movies. A spiritual successor called Hook's Adventures was released in 1997 and was inspired by Greek mythology. Metal Warriors, a side-scroller inspired by mecha, anime, and Big Sky Trooper, were also developed, using the same engine as Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Though these games sold poorly, They later garnered a cult following and are now considered to be cult classics from the 16-bit era. The first adventure game developed by Lucasfilm The first adventure game developed by Lucasfilm Games was The Labyrinth in 1986, based on the Lucasfilm movie of the same name. The 1987 title Maniac Mansion introduced Scum, the scripting language behind most of the company's later adventure offerings. The adventures released the following years, such as Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders in 1988, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the graphic adventure in 1989, and the 1990 titles Loom and the Secret of Monkey Island helped Lucasfilm Games build a reputation as one of the leading developers in the genre. The original 5 adventure games created with Scum were released in a compilation titled LucasArts Classic Adventures in 1992. LucasArts was often referred to as one of the two big names in the field, competing with Sierra Online as a developer of high-quality adventures. The first half of the 90s was the heyday for the company's adventure fame, with classic titles such as Monkey Island 2: LeChuck's Revenge in 1991, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis in 92, Maniac Mansion: Day of the Tentacle, and Sam and Max Hit the Road in 1993, and the 1995 title Full Throttle and titles rather titles Full Throttle and The Dig. In the latter half of the decade, the popularity of blah, blah, blah. In the latter half of the decade, the popularity of adventure games faded, and the costs associated with game development increased as high-resolution art and CD quality audio became standard fare. The PC market wanted titles that would show off expensive new graphics cards to best effect. Bleh. To best effect. Maybe I should make these videos for you folks when I'm more awake and I can I can yeah, I should make these videos for you folks a bit later on in the morning when I'm more awake. In the latter half of the decade, the popularity of adventure games faded and the cost associated with the game development increased as high-resolution art and CD quality or audio became standard fare. The PC market wanted titles that would show off expensive new graphics cards to best effect. A change replicated in the home console market as the 3D capabilities of the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and Nintendo 64 dictated the nature of the majority of games produced for those platforms. The adventure genre failed to find popularity with the masses of new gamers. Despite their declining popularity, LucasArts still continued to release adventure titles. In 1997, The Curse of Monkey Island, the last LucasArts adventure game, to retain traditional two-dimensional graphics and point-and-click interface was released. This was followed by Grim Fandango in 1998, LucasArts' first attempt to convert a 2D adventure into a 3D environment. The highly stylized visuals, outstanding soundtrack, superb voice acting, and sophisticated writing earned Grim Fandango many plaudits, including plaudits. Am I pronouncing that word right? Is that how it's supposed to be pronounced? Please tell me in the comments bar below. Including GameSpot's Game of the Year award, Escape from Monkey Island, the fourth installment in the Monkey Island series, featured the same control scheme as Grim Fandango and was generally well received. It is the last original adventure game the company has released rather. Two sequels to existing franchises, Full Throttle Hell on Wheels and Sam and Max Freelance Police, were announced to be in development, but these projects were cancelled in 2003 and 2004 respectively, before the games were finished. When the rights to the Sam and Max franchise expired in 2005, the creator of Sam and Max, Steve Purcell, regained ownership. He then licensed Sam and Max to Telltale Games to be developed into an episodic game. Telltale Games was made up primarily of former LucasArts employees who had worked on the Sam and Max sequel and were let go after the project was cancelled. LucasArts halted adventure game development for the next 5 years, focusing instead on the Star Wars games. They remained silent and did not release their old games on digital distribution platforms, as other studios were doing at the time. However, in 2002, the company pledged that at least 50% of its releases would have nothing to do with Star Wars. It was not until 2009 that they returned to the genre. On June 1st of that year, LucasArts announced both The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition, a high-definition remake of the original game with revised graphics, music, and voice work, and Tales of Monkey Island, a new episodic installment in the Monkey Island series that was developed by Telltale Games. Then, on July 6th of that year, 2009, they announced that they would be re-releasing a number of their classic games, including Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis and Loom, on Steam. The releases were, for the first time, native versions built for Microsoft Windows. This was the first time in many years that the studio had offered any support for its classic adventure titles. The second game in the Monkey Island series also received a high-definition remake, entitled Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge Special Edition in 2010. Both Monkey Island Special Edition games were released in a compilation, Monkey Island Special Edition Collection, exclusively in Europe in 2011. The release of the unofficial Scum virtual machine Scum VM has led to something of a resurgence for LucasArts adventure games among present-day gamers. Using Scum VM, legacy adventure titles can easily be run on modern computers and even more unusual platforms such as video game consoles, mobile phones, and PDAs. Simulation games. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Lucasfilm Games developed a series of military vehicle simulation games. The first of which were the naval simulations PHM Pegasus in 1986 and Strike Fleet in 1987. These two titles were published by Electronic Arts for a variety of computer platforms, including IBM PC compatibles, Commodore 64, and Apple II. In 1988, Battlehawks 1942 launched a trilogy of World War II air combat simulations, giving the player a chance to fly as an American or Japanese pilot in the Pacific Theater. Battlehawks 1942 was followed by The Finest Hour, the Battle of Britain in 1989, recreating the battle between the Luftwaffe, don't know what that is, and RAF for Britain's air supremacy. The trilogy ended with Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe in 1991, in which the player could choose to fly on either the American or German side. The trilogy was lauded for its historical accuracy and detailed supplementary material. Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe, for instance, was accompanied by a 224-page historical manual The World War II trilogy was released with cover art by illustrator Mark Erickson in a compilation titled Air Combat Classics in 1994. The World War II trilogy was created by a team led by Lawrence Holland, a game designer who later founded Totally Games. Totally Games would continue to develop games almost exclusively to LucasArts for a decade, with the most noted outcome of the symbiosis being the X-Wing series. They were also responsible for LucasArts' 2003 return for the aerial battles of World War II, with Secret Weapons over Normandy, a title released on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. In '96, LucasArts released Afterlife, a simulator in which players build their own heaven and hell, with several jokes and puns such as a prison in hell called San Quentin Tarantino. That's gonna do it for this part of my Lucasfilm Games video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video as well as all my other videos and all my shorts. Please share them, please comment on them, please subscribe to my channel, and please click the bell for new notifications from me. I'll be back with part 2 of the Lucasfilm Games history lesson with you sometime soon. But that's it for now. Bye.